An 8-inch by 10-inch photograph was cut to fit exactly into a 5-inch by 7-inch frame. What is the area in square inches of the part of the photograph that was cut off? We've got some options below. Let's go. All right, now, they said a buzzword in this problem. They said area. And when you think of a buzzword like area, perimeter, circumference, volume, any of those words, you need to write the formula down, the specific formula that relates to the shape or shapes we're talking about. In our problem here, we're talking about the area of an 8-inch by 10-inch photograph, which I've drawn here. Now, the area of a rectangle, which is what we've got here, is the length times the width. Highly recommend that you write that down. And what we need to do is figure out, well, if I've got this 8-inch, we'll call it 8-inch here, by 10-inch, we'll call the 10-inch this length here. This 8 by 10 photograph, I'm going to cut it down to size so that this lovely family portrait fits inside of a smaller frame. So the question is, how much area am I going to cut off to do so? Well, I could tell for starters that the area of this big one is going to be, well, the length is 10 and the width is 8. But maybe you're not quite sure yet, what do you do with this other photograph that you're cutting down to size here? Well, let me kind of superimpose on this in red. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this family portrait down to a smaller size so we can get a real tight picture with just the family in it and maybe none of this extra background stuff. And so here's our family portrait that we're trying to cut down to. Let's say we want to put it right here. We know that we want to fit this into a 5-inch by 7-inch frame. And what we're really trying to find out is how much dead space of this photograph are we really cutting off in order to get it into the smaller frame? Well, you might be wondering, well, do I maybe subtract the 8 and the 5 or the 10 and the 7 or something like that? And no, you don't. All you have to do is say, well, if the original area of the blue was 80, and let's see, the new area of the red is also going to be the length times the width because it's also a rectangle. Well, that's 5 by 7, so that's 7 times 5, and this one is therefore 35. We've got the old blue area, 10 times 8 is 80. We've got the new red area, 5 times 7 is 35. And really all the dead space is just when I take the 80 and I subtract the 35 that I'm keeping. So all I need to do to get the area of all the removed parts is just the 80 minus the 35, which is going to be 45. So to put this in perspective, it doesn't matter exactly where I put that red rectangle. Like maybe I wanted to cut a little bit higher so I get just the faces, or maybe I want to go a little lower so we cut off the dad's bald hair, right? Well, one way or another, wherever I put this, I'm taking the original 80, the area of the blue, minus the 35 that I'm keeping, and then the removed area is just the remaining 45 that's no longer going to go into that picture frame. That means our answer here is E, and if you got it right, great thinking.